So, let me tell you something that you should have already realized by now about this fucking show you're listening to. This shit is supposed to be for mature audiences, as in grown-ups, mentally mature. It's supposed to talk about adult subjects, an adult frame of mind. It's not fucking that at all. This is two emotionally regressed, broken half-wits pretending to offer insight on movies. All they really offer you is an endless sexual perversion and a laundry list of personal paraphilia issues. You can make your own choices in life, but you have to choose this as entertainment. You know you're better than this. You have to know you are better than listening to Cinema Psyops.
Entertaining, more blood than a blood bank. You may be sickened, but what about your kids? They seem to love every moment. If you find this disturbing, just wait, because there is a whole other dimension.
Do you know what your children are watching? Well, parents and psychologists are very concerned. Fair warning, though, there is some graphic violence in this, but we say that for you, not your kids. They've probably already seen it.
You have to know you are better than listening to Cinema Psyops.
I like gore. I love blood and guts and stuff, you know. It turns me on, you know, ever since I was a little kid. I love the feeling of being scared, you know.
Kids call them slasher or splatter movies, and they get together to watch them at gross out parties. The movies are extremely violent, sexually provocative, and have graphic displays of mutilation.
I see them with my friends, and we see who can keep their eyes open the longest.
Slumber Party Massacre. That was a classic. This guy just goes around killing people. That's the plot of all scary movies. C-I-N-E-M-A! P-S-Y-O-D-S! C-I-N-E-M-A! P-S-Y-O-D-S!
You have to know you are better than listening to Cinema Psyops.
Kids get the movies from the horror section. Most of the violent movies are rated R and aren't supposed to be seen unless you're 17 years old. Others are made directly on videotape and bypass the rating system altogether.
Hello! And good morning for Cinema Psyops. This is the first episode of Year 7, which I, for some reason, decided to schedule right before I'm going to go on vacation, so I got to work extra hard just to get everything done for you folks. And do you even appreciate what I do for you? I'm your host, Court, and a man who doesn't appreciate all the hard work I have to go in to do to make him look even halfway decent as a co-host is my co-host, Matt.
I've never looked halfway decent in anything, so you know what? You're doing a shit job.
No, because you are significantly worse when you're not edited. I cut out still a lot of your uhs and ums, and so he, I cut a lot of that out.
I got a lot of uhs in my life.
I've noticed that you do this thing where when you're doing a review, you will get way ahead of what it is that you want to say. And so you'll just jump to the action that's going to happen, and then you go back and say the character name. I've noticed that over the last couple of years of editing your reviews.
I get really excited. I just want to talk about it. That's all.
Well, I think that may be sort of the appeal for you doing the review, because it's almost like a little kid, like Dash telling the story of everything that everybody just saw in the battle that took place where they were kicking ass.
Thanks, everyone. I really wanted that comparison.
What? I think that's cute. I think it's adorable.
Hey, Dash is a Minuteman, all right, Ed?
Just because he's speedy doesn't mean he doesn't have longevity.
Oh, I got you.
That's like saying Flash is a Minuteman, but no, he's just a speedster. There's a huge difference.
I think it could be uncomfortable if not lubricated properly. I'm just saying.
I don't know. If you were a speedster, you could make various body parts vibrate at whatever frequency and speed you wanted.
This is true. This is yeah. I don't know, man. I don't like getting into superhero sex talk because it just raises so many questions that I don't need to have that existential crisis for.
Well, that's more territory for Kevin Smith anyway, to try and make the geeks argue over whether or not the thing is made of orange rock.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. Does he even have a thing? Okay, fuck it. We gotta get out of this. This is not our forte.
It's a thing.
Yeah, it may not be our forte, but yeah, it's definitely a thing.
It is a thing.
Thank you, David. One of the things that is definitely our thing is blaxploitation, because Matt, you are an expert on covering blaxploitation on this show.
There is, again, no one, and I mean no one, better to speak of the black experience in the 60s and 70s.
In film,
more than the middle-aged white man. So
on this show anyway, there's no one more qualified.
At least this show. And because I handle it with such grace and kindness.
Yes, and we're gonna deal with a lot of the stuff in Coffy, which is what we're talking about this week.
Coffy, I'm telling you, man, there's some shit that can really be settled into, that this could be made today, same way, and it would all be kind of the same. Nothing's changed, which is sad, which is very sad.
Yeah. I was really bummed out watching a lot of this, and it's basically the clothing has changed and the faces are different, and there's a new crop of youth, being besmirched and mistreated that way, and it's really kind of a downer. And I never remember Coffy being as much of a downer of a film as this actually is, and it is. It really is.
Probably because back then you were maybe not thinking about it as much. We're much more exposed to things that we were purposely or unpurposely blind to, and we've been shown things now. And
I'm not even just talking about the racism being a downer. I mean, that's a huge fucking downer. I'm just talking about the movie itself is a fucking downer.
Yeah, the movie itself is fucking. It's pretty down. I mean,
it's a grim fucking crime film. I remember it being more of a revenge action film and sort of having a happy ending, but like I mean, spoiler alert, there's no happy ending in Coffy.
There is no happy ending.
Yeah,
you think you're being given a happy ending, but when you really think about it, you're not.
Yeah, and I can't actually wait to go ahead and talk about Coffy, so let's just go ahead and play that Legion Patreon ad, and we'll have some music that I snagged right out of the fucking soundtrack when we come back.
Fucking A.
This'll keep it quiet. Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. You caught me cutting a new show. I'm Bo Ransdell, and I'm one of the many creators you can find on Legion Podcasts. I said quiet! My fellow podcasters and I work hard to bring you the best in horror podcasting, but that comes at a cost.
Wouldst thou like to live deliciously?
Not that, but also yes. No, what I'm getting at is that there are server costs for good microphones and software for editing, all the things that make our shows, fun to listen to. And you can help. If you're enjoying the shows on legionpodcasts.com or in the Legion Network available on iTunes and Stitcher, just about anywhere you can download a podcast, really, you can help us out and get a little something for your trouble at patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. For just $2 a month, you get a pair of movie commentaries exclusive to Patreon, and for $5, you can also join us for a monthly screening of a movie. All of that available on patreon.com/Legion Podcasts. We appreciate it, and thank you for listening. Now, back to the cut.
All right, Coffy is the color. That song even is
that's a bit problematic.
Kind of
much like many blaxploitation films of this era that we have covered. All the songs had something to do with the story that was being told.
Yeah. I think Foxy Brown is probably my favorite. If I really want to watch something gritty and dark, I'm totally gonna go for Coffy. But I think Foxy Brown has a better happy ending, and it's a little bit more upbeat, and it's just a lot more fun, and I think that may be why we covered that one first. I mean, It's so grim, it's even grim in this trailer.
My name's Coffy.
Coffy, black and stacked and packed with fury, with both barrels zeroed in on the mob's top killers.
This is the end of your rotten life, you dope pusher.
Coffee. Where the action is, there coffee is. Coffee, godmother of them all. The baddest one-chick hit squad that ever hit town. Coffee.
Rated R.
Yeah, no shit. That'd be great if the voiceover guy. Rated R. No shit, right, guys?
Holy
All right.
fuck, have you seen it? Yeah, of course it's rated R.
That'd be fun. All right. So, Coffee, the first 20 minutes. All right. There's a little bit of a party going on. Big boss is walking around. Dude comes up and he says, hey, he's got a lady who's in need. And this guy and this boss is going to want to see him. Boss not happy to see this guy because, you know, it's like this guy owes him money, that kind of shit. But he's like, dude, you got to check out this lady. So the boss goes outside because the lady's in his car already. And who is in the back seat? But it is the lovely Pam Grier.
Okay, so the lady is in the boss's car. The
Yes,
guy
in
put this
The
dope.
lady in the boss's car, and the boss is kind of pissed at first. But when you go back and you see Pam Grier in the back seat of your car, you're not as mad anymore.
I will say this about the film. It definitely uses the fact that Pam Grier is knockout gorgeous to show how easily she can manipulate and just basically get men to do exactly what she wants. And I have no argument against this.
No,
like, I totally believe
can't argue that. The minute I saw her in this film, I'm like, well, she could probably manipulate me and make me do whatever she wanted.
Right. Like
I would be powerless against her.
Right. The way she was sitting in the back and the way that they show her and the way that they film her, it like he just looks down into the window of the car, and I'm like, yep, that tender trap would have caught me.
Oh yeah, I'm dead already. Look at that. I'm not going to last past 3 minutes of this film because she's going to kill me.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: Coffy's out to kill people, and we know Pam Grier is Coffy, so big shock there.
I never really call her Coffy in this film because I keep calling her Pam Grier. So. I put respect on her name, all right?
Yeah, and it feels a lot better just to call her by the actress name than the character name, because I don't know if white dudes can call a black woman Coffy and get away with it.
Yeah, even though that's her last name in the movie.
Yeah, it's
just
like
not gonna do it.
Coffin. I guess her last name is like Coffin or Coffer.
No, it is Coffy.
Yeah, but they call her Coffy, but they actually, when she's introduced in one of the scenes, he says her full last name is like Coffin.
See, I missed that.
Like
See,
that. Yeah.
With a lot of these films, the audio can get a bit tricky on everybody.
Yeah, this print looks great and everything, but there's some audio issues. I will
definitely
admit.
Some audio issues. Yeah. So a lot of times, so maybe you picked out something that so if you did, like, I missed something audio wise, just let me know, because I'll be interested in that, because I was commenting. I even noted that right here in the beginning of the film that we had these kind of problems. So
yeah, so that was something that I think her man that she was dating, when we get to that scene, when he introduces her, he actually says her full name, or I think it might have been the cop that she's kind of interested in.
That she used to date,
yeah, or that she did date at one point in time. One of those two, when they're talking to somebody else about her, says her full last name, and it's something like Coffin, and they just call her Coffy for short, which makes sense. That would make a good nickname if your last name is Coffin.
Yeah, maybe you don't want to have the last name Coffin, so you'd rather go by Coffee. But to me, she's Pam Grier. I put respect on that name.
Fucking A, you do.
Fucking A, I do. So they say she needs smack, and she's acting like she needs it real bad. She's like going through a withdrawal, and she'll do anything. Well, we're at the hotel, and they go back to a hotel, and they're hooking up while the other guy who's driving them, who brought her, he's making up some smack. And
it's not a hotel. It was the guy that brought the guy that brought Pam Grier, because
he said go to your place because we don't have time.
Yeah,
you're right. So he's making the smack, the guy driving, and the boss and Pam are getting down, and then she turns the tables. She brings out the shotgun and blows the boss's head up. Very Dawn of the Dead type style of head exploding.
Yeah, it was a full-fledged actual shotgun blast into a dummy head. The line that she says just before she shoots him is a pretty infamous line, and they had it in the trailer. They just edited out the motherfucker part of it. But this is the end of your rotten life, you motherfucking dope pusher. If you listen very intently to, I think it's Electric Head, or one of the songs on Astro Creep 2000 actually starts and or ends with that quote, but it, instead of saying pusher, they just kind of like delete the pusher part off the end and then have it like drop drop out in pitch. So you actually hear Pam Grier say, "This is the end of your rotten life, you motherfucking dope." Before I'd actually seen Coffy, I had heard that album. And then when I watched the movie, I'm like, God damn, I found yet another one.
That's our first clip.
It was easy for him because he really didn't believe it was coming. But it ain't gonna be easy for you because you better believe it's coming.
Wait. What do you want to go and do this for? Why? Look here, I got your fix. Don't you want your fix?
No, but you do.
I don't get this. What do you want with me?
My name's Coffin. LaBelle Coffin is my little sister.
LaBelle?
Shooting smack at 11, and you got her on it, you dirty shame!
Please.
Her whole life is gone. She can never get it back. And you're living real good. That ain't right. It ain't right. So go on and take the shot.
I can't. That'll kill me.
Maybe it will and maybe it won't. But if it do, you're gonna fly through them pearly gates with the biggest fucking smile St. Peter ever seen.
No. I don't even remember your little sister. No.
See right there when she said my name is Coffin?
Yeah, yep.
My
I heard
little
it
sister
now.
was Lulabelle Coffin.
Anyway, so and then she makes the dealer take a fucking dope shot that's way too big.
That is referred to as a hot shot. It is a
hot shot.
Yeah, it's a shot of way too much fucking heroin.
Yeah.
That you pretty much will not survive. And if you do survive, it's going to fuck you up and it's going to wreck you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be a vegetable.
Yeah, but a hot shot is designed essentially to kill you and make it look like you accidentally overdosed.
Yeah. So anyway, we cut to a hospital and we see that Pam is a nurse. One nurse is already rattled in surgery and the doctor throws her out and wants Pam to get in there right away. Well, Pam, because apparently Pam's really good. But Pam gets in there now and after, she has just now murdered 2 people, pretty much, even though the other guy isn't dead.
Vengeance slaying.
Vengeance slaying. I mean, she went on a rampage. It's a rampage. But she's herself because Pam is a good person in this movie. She is very rattled herself, and so she gets sent away. Well,
that was actually some excellent acting, seeing her suffering from what it was that she just did.
Yeah.
Pam really, really rocks this movie. It would not have worked without her.
No, not at all. And we can tell this is probably this character's first, like this is her first time out for vengeance here. So this is probably her first couple of kills. And yeah, that's probably gonna make you feel a certain way. So
the way that she's actually shook, I think it makes it way more realistic because I mean, I don't care who you are unless you're maybe me. If you kill a person, it's going to haunt you.
I still think you'd even be haunted if you killed a person, depending on the reason you killed them.
Right. Well, I think that if I were to have done what Coffy did and gotten revenge that way, first of all, it wouldn't have worked because I ain't seducing anybody.
Yeah, because the big boss comes in back and you're laid seductively in a back seat. That's just not going to work for anybody.
Right.
Well, actually, it depends on the boss. Depends on what the boss likes. I mean,
yeah, I might be a snack to some folks. I mean, there are communities of people that are into what I got to offer, but I've never met them.
I just see them on Twitter sometimes.
Right. I know that they're tweeting at me and they're calling me like a bear and stuff, but I'm like, okay, thanks. I appreciate that you're into me. Cool.
Thank you. But then you got to find one of those people who's also a big boss of, dealing dope. The pool just gets smaller and smaller with what we got to work with.
Right.
Here.
The likelihood that I would be trying to get vengeance against someone who would also want to bang me is extremely null and void. But anyway, besides all of that, but like for that kind of vengeance, if you came for one of mine, I think I would feel less guilty about it. But I honestly don't know because my emotions and my reactions to things are completely different than what I would have expected them to be. And it's gotten weird in my old age.
Yeah, I have no idea what I would be. I think by maturing, like I think when I'm younger, I'd been like, yeah, you come after one of my people, I'll kill you without thinking twice. But now that I'm older and maybe a bit more mature and can examine my, feelings a little bit better, I have no idea how I'd feel. I don't know if I could even go that route. I don't know if I could go that far. Well, so there you go.
When we do the show in the morning, we're so much more mature and thoughtful because we're tired and a little hungover.
Right? Our shields are down, people. These are raw emotions coming out.
But no, I just wanted to comment on that because so many of these vengeance things show like a lot
this person's just like, I'm ready to kill and I don't have any feelings on it.
Yeah, like in Death Wish, for instance, Paul Kersey, whenever he beats that dude down with that sock full of quarters, quarters. As soon as he gets back to his apartment, he's all shaken up and excited, but then he starts flailing on his fucking furniture with the sock because he can't get enough of it, you know? And while that may be cool in a film to see, you don't really want to be around a person that can do that and be okay with it.
Exactly. So anyway, two cops come up and they start talking to a doctor, asking about the actual person who Pam made OD on heroin. And he is apparently completely fucking brain dead. He is gone. Well, as they come up, that actually becomes our next clip.
Oh, Carter.
What's the matter? Something wrong?
No, I'm just a little tired tonight for some reason. What are you doing here? The only cop I know to get a dislocated toe while run over by his own squad car while writing a parking ticket because he didn't set the handbrake.
Come on, Coffy, don't tell stories like that.
And I had to hold your hand while they said it. You want some?
Yeah, black, please. Boy, we had a real messy one tonight. Junkie killed his connection with a shotgun. Blew his head clean off. Then OD'd himself.
Yeah? Kind of strange, isn't it?
At least that's what my partner says. I don't believe it.
You don't?
There's a mob been moving in here and taking over the vice and narcotics rackets. Even trying to pay off the police.
You're really beginning to sound like a cop now, you know it. I got a busy night, Carter. I gotta go.
Hey, wait a minute, Coffy. I still want to see you. Can't we get together this week?
Oh, come on, Carter. I've told you how it is. Things haven't changed any.
I can't believe you're still hung up on that phony politician.
Now, you're not gonna get to me by insulting my friends, you know.
Well, just give it a chance. I mean, something innocent like a movie or a drive in the country. Come on, what are you doing tomorrow?
You won't want to do what I'm doing tomorrow, Carter.
Yes, I will. Try me.
Some of the kids were on all kinds of pills. Some are on methadone now. The youngest is only 9 years old. The worst are the ones that got the contaminated junk. But you know how some dealing junkies are. They'll put anything into it to stretch another dollar out of it. So when I got my certificate, I moved up here so I could make more bread to send some home to LaBelle, paying for music lessons and dance classes, so she wouldn't end up hustling like my older sister. But when you got a sister who's hustling and a brother who's snorting coke and shooting up, then I found out about a month ago, for the past year, all the money's been going for junk. Pills first, then smack. I told her to stay away from those people. But some junkie knew she was getting money and he started leaning on her. You know how it is. Carter, wouldn't you want to kill somebody who had done a thing like that to your little sister?
Sure would.
Then you think it'd be right?
What? To kill some pusher who's only selling so he can get money to buy for himself? What good would that do, Coffy? I mean, he's only part of a chain that reaches all the way back to some poor farmer in Turkey or Vietnam. What would you do? Kill all of them?
Well, why not? Nothing else seems to do any good. You know who they are. Everybody knows who they are. Now, you're a cop. Now, why don't you just arrest them?
It's not that simple, Coffy. The law can't do that.
You bet it can't. And I know why it can't, too. Because the law is in for a piece of the action.
Not all of it. Not yet. Oh. Look who's here. Pretty hard for a poor ordinary cop to compete with, huh?
Oh, Carter, now, you've been real nice up to now. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, but we had a real good thing together once, Coffy. I think there's still something there.
But we were kids then. Things are different now. Good night, Carter.
Seeing that conversation they were having on the way back in the car after that scene that was very clearly parodied in Black Dynamite rather well, where he tours that orphanage of all those kids on drugs. But she does actually have a thing where she's like trying to see or just kind of get a litmus test on should I be feeling guilty or should I be feeling good, because she's conflicted about this. Like, she seems like, well, you know, wouldn't that be a good thing to do? Shouldn't that be something that I did? And then the cop lays it out where he's like, well, you know, there's Like, he kind of has a very liberal policy in his own mind about, like, hey, you're going to have to take out the entire line. You're not going to solve anything that way. That's not how you're going to fix it.
And he's very much like, you're killing a pusher who's probably already also addicted themselves. They're also an addict. So you're not really punishing the people who killing that guy. You're not really punishing the people who are actually responsible for the drug issue. You're just punishing another victim. They just happen to be, a victim who's pushing just to get stuff themselves.
And his very liberalistic view of this, and kind of looking a little bit differently, which is shocking for a fucking cop, is interesting in that it kind of triggers her into believing that what she's doing is right, because when he says, are you going to go and get them all? And then she just kind of is like, yeah, I think I am. I think this bristles her, and it's this where she realizes that her work for revenge is not done, right?
And I would like to go back to the beginning of the clip when he first comes up to her. Her hand is totally shaking while she's trying to have coffee, and you can tell that was another great bit of acting. And then when they went to go see her sister, and her sister's completely comatose from a heroin overdose. So, and it's her sister's 11. So,
it's pretty fucked. And this film doesn't really give you breathing room at all.
No, it is fucking dark. That is a hard thing to come to fucking terms with.
Yeah. This is definitely not the fun, breezy films that we have seen previously with Pam Grier in them, even though they got dark and twisted as well.
I mean, this is though a little bit different level of darkness here.
It's got a really good social commentary on what's going on in the community at large and how that affects the actual people. And it's amazing to me that it took so long for things to get so much better as they are now. Fuck.
Yeah, they're not. I mean, it's a story that can be told today, and the drugs just change because it seems heroin's become heroin's still one of the worst fucking things a person can get addicted to. Now just add methamphetamines and over-the-counter opiates that are fucking killing people now. So
the hillbilly heroin of Oxycontin and all that horse shit that became a big problem was only a problem because it was killing white folks.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I got news. This stuff has been around. The issue with opiates has been around for generations, but until it starts affecting some white high school kid in the suburbs, it's not going to get any news, because not even like a white hillbilly junkie is going to get any news. But that one kid from an affluent family who took too much one time, well, now it's a problem. Now it's an epidemic. And it's like, it wasn't before. Okay, I guess. News Channel 6.
Weird that there's almost like a systematic problem with race in our country. Like, there is systemic racism in America. Wow. Like, it's almost like that exists. But I've never been taught that, Matt. I have no idea. But
I've never been taught that either. I thought all race problems were done thanks to Martin Luther King.
Apparently, Obama getting elected fixed everything as far as what most people are concerned.
I thought everything was okay now, but I guess not.
No, kids are still dying from smack overdoses and drug overdoses and getting shot because of smack and other drugs and shit. And it's all happening in these economically disparaged neighborhoods. Yep. And the only thing that has changed is the clothing, because the buildings just keep getting older and look the same.
Yeah. It's all
fucking depressing. Yeah. Jesus
fucking
Christ.
Depressing. Yeah. All right. Well, she gets out and the limo driver's like, hey, the Mr. So-and-so, her boyfriend, who's a politician, he got done with work early and wanted to know if she wanted to, hook up. And she's like, yeah, let me get changed. So then we cut to a dancing club. It could be, it seems a little fancy to be called a strip club, maybe a gentleman's club.
Go-go.
You could call it. What?
She's a go-go dancer, and sometimes go-go's are topless.
Yeah, it's a go-go club. Go-go dancing club. Anyway, we see the two guys. They're kind of mumbling and talking about issues. And we see another guy who's watching them, and I call him Cyclops. He wears a pair of glasses. One part of it is, darkened.
Striking looking villain.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, literally, you might as well give him a curly mustache and let him go.
Jack Hill has a thing for bad characters, or characters that are bad folks. or working in crime organizations with eye patches. We saw that with Patch in Switchblade Sisters. And aesthetically speaking, it works because you automatically wonder, like, how the fuck is that eye, what's wrong with it? Why is it covered like that? What's going on? Like,
automatically when you see him, that's probably not a good dude.
Yeah, something bad had to have happened, and probably because he has made some bad choices in life that have led him to this, that he has possibly lost that eye.
Yeah, exactly. And while this whole scene happens, by the way, just lots of boobs everywhere. So
yes, thank you, movie.
Thank you, movie.
Yeah,
thank you.
The dancer is stunning, and the performance.
I mean, all of them are. I mean, because there's numerous dancers there who are topless. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, movie. One of the things you can always count on Jack Hill is boobs.
Yeah, and I thank him for that.
If you are a fan of seeing female breasts or you can't get enough of seeing female breasts, this is definitely a film more for you.
I gotta ask, is Jack Hill Caucasian or African American?
He is Caucasian, I believe.
That is fucking weird, man. I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. That gives me a little bit of a problem that he makes black exploitation films.
Once you have made one, the other folks that want to continue making more sort of pigeonhole you into that. And because he had worked with Pam Grier and Sid Haig, on multiple occasions, they just kept getting put into like making films. And if you want to make movies, you make the movie that people hire you to make. And Jack Hill very much just worked. He just wanted to work.
I got you. All right. I'm just saying it sometimes it just makes me think weird shit. So anyway,
I would say that of all of the white filmmakers who were directing and or possibly writing or co-writing the blaxploitation films, Jack Hill handles it a lot more deftly than most.
Okay. All right. Well, that's at least something. Well, all right. Back to the story here. Pam's man, who is a politician, the guy he's talking to there, this isn't Cyclops, this is a different guy. He is apparently, as Pam comes over and he's introducing, he is one of the lead men in narcotics for the police department.
He's like in charge of narcotics.
Yes, he's in charge of narcotics for the police force.
Yeah, so he's like a lieutenant or sergeant or like the highest rank for that department below the chief or below the captain for that precinct.
Well, that guy, he decides he's leaving for the night. So the other guy, her boyfriend's talking to Pam and goes, hey, I got some great news. I was talking to this guy and some other people. They want to make me a congressman. So he's going to try to run for Congress. So this is really great. We see a lady, she's kind of walking around taking pictures of couples and such. And Cyclops man actually, corners her in a private room and takes her film from her by threatening to cut her because he's a fucking dick.
Not just cut her, but he rips her shirt open and threatens to cut off her tit with a switchblade that I actually own. Not that specific one, but one that looks exactly like it.
It's a weird flex, bro, but okay.
I collect switchblades, for fuck's sakes.
That has to be a clip. I don't know how, but that's for some reason that seems like it's a clip.
Yeah, the argument of I collect switchblades for fuck's sakes. Yeah, it sounds like it's some kind of a defense.
Yeah.
Because it is.
I know. Right?
No, I just wanted to point it out that I do have that same style. It's actually.
I think I've seen that one from you before.
Yeah,
so,
I used to use it as a letter opener because I never fully sharpened it, and it's an Italian-made style switchblade from AKC, and that specific one or that type of switchblade has been made by that family or that company for an extremely long time.
Back when I was in studio, that's just what you would keep threatening people with. So it was nice.
Yeah, I had multiple of them.
You would threaten to cut off my fat man tit. So it was nice.
I have never that anyone can prove.
Right.
You throw in enough qualifiers, it's true, man.
You're not wrong. So anyway, Pam and her boyfriend, they go back to his place and they bone for a bit. Then they're kind of sitting around by the fire, enjoying a glass of wine, and she wants to go away with him. And he's like, I just got a lot of work right now because, he's running for Congress now. And he goes, but when all this is over, we'll go to my cabin. And you tell Pam almost now, it seems like she wants to get away from it all. Maybe she sees a life where she doesn't have to be in vengeance now. So go, with this man. So maybe she's even thinking about, hey, take me away from here. I want to go away. It also could be she still wants vengeance, but maybe because this was her first time getting kills, she just wants to get away for a vacation because, that shit can really fuck you up.
Well, and also maybe she needs to lay low. But I also was thinking that perhaps what she was talking about is a way to get away once she's done whatever she needs to do to take care of this whole organization that she's apparently about to take on in her own head. And maybe she's just playing at like a happy life escape once this is all said and done. Because in order to do this kind of work, you really need to have an end game or an end strategy, or accept the fact that you're going to fucking die doing it.
Well, I think her end strategy is because she is in love with this politician guy, and she thinks he's a good man. Spoiler alert. But I think she wants to, I think she sees also, okay, he's going to be a congressman. He could, if I get busted for some reason by the cops, going to my murderous vengeance rampage, he might be able to get me out of it. So she's happy with that too.
Well, and also marrying a congressman would give her a very cushy, comfortable life to where she could take care of her family and, actually
her sister,
and
all that.
He's running on a campaign of bettering the black community or making things better for the black community as well. And so that's got to appeal to her because she is part of that community as well as her sister, who has suffered horrendously. And a lot of the systemic racism that this candidate is talking about later on in the film speaks directly to her because she is a victim of it.
Yep, and but he says, after all this is done, she goes, okay, and then she spills her wine right on his dick and starts going down on him, and he's then, much like anybody else would, says, okay, whatever you want, and that ends the first 20 minutes, and look how much we talked in it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot to unpack in this movie. I do want to point out that she spills her wine pretending like it was an accident, and then says that she would clean it up, and she cleans it up by licking it up, which would make Kiss very happy according to their song.
Yes, and I mean, wow, that's just a visual and a fantasy in the head to be sure.
Like you had said, when Pam Grier is laying out a tender trap, you're going to let her do whatever she wants to do with you.
Yeah, now, this is not a trap, though, because you'll see it in this movie. She generally loves this man.
Right.
And she thinks this is a good man, and she wants to be with him.
All right, so I was trying to be more delicate when I was really intending to say, when Pam Grier wants to go down on you, you don't fight.
That's, you do not. And if she wants to get away for the weekend, you're going to then get away for the fucking weekend.
Yeah.
Work or no work. You're going to go away for the weekend. You're going to take her someplace, all right?
You give Pam Grier what she wants, and if she just wants to give you a blowjob as part of that, then you just enjoy it and be very thankful of what a wonderful life you just had.
Yeah. You just got to live a pretty nice. You just got to have a pretty nice time.
Yeah. The 20-minute break stuff. We've already got the setup. We see how she has this fantasy world she's going to escape. We see the vengeance that she still wants to do.
So much about it that we're
good.
We're set.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Well, we start the next 20 minutes. That night, Pam is driving to the hospital for work, and this white asshole, because he's definitely white and he's definitely an asshole, he actually is asking her stuff and then tries to assault her because, he wants Pam Grier, but he tries to assault her, but luckily Carter shows up and shims him off. And we find out the guy's wife is in the hospital. The guy's wife's in the hospital, and he's trying to rape another woman. So,
who is clearly dressed like a nurse. He's trying to rape a nurse on her way into the hospital. That's essentially what his plan was.
Yeah, and he is a racist prick. So, a racist rapist prick.
That's both like a special level of hell for that piece of shit.
Both the two worst R's you could be, he is.
Yeah, the only other third R that would be even worse is if he's a recidivist, as in he has been caught from this, went to jail, and then went and did it again and went back to jail for the same crime.
This guy could just be the fucking worst and probably should go to the 8th ring of hell. So, anyway, they go back to his place and they have some coffee, and she's
not the sex, but actual like the drink.
Yeah, the drink. Yeah, and she is about to tell him her secret, but he gets a phone call and he says he's not in on it. He won't be in on it. He's not taking a cut. And if he finds out his partner will, he's going to report him. She asks what's up after he gets off the phone, and that's our next clip.
Ever get the feeling you talk too much?
What was that all about?
That was me. Blowing my piece of the action.
What do you mean?
My partner, Mac Henry's on the take.
Who's paying off?
Big gangster out of Vegas named Petroni. Moving into the black rackets because the big money now is in narcotics. Taking over most of the pimps and dealers already.
Pimps?
Yeah, like King George. He's a big dealer, too. All goes together.
I've heard of King George. So tell me, if everybody else is for sale, why are you so special?
Look, there's plenty of good cops left. What we need is more support from the people.
I have a very, very big problem with the last part of the statement that he made. I don't believe that that's true. That just doesn't seem right to me, that there's plenty of good cops left. Those words don't work.
Well, here's why the saying all cops are bastards is such a thing now. When people say that, people aren't saying what all cops are. Well, I mean, maybe some are. When I think of it, I don't think all cops are racist. I don't think all cops are women beaters. I don't think all cops are just straight up murderers. But here's my problem, or all cops are on the take or anything like that. But here's my problem, and something he even directly kind of plays into. He knows his partner and his buddies are all on the take, and even though he threatens to report it, you can tell he's resigned not to. So all those other quote unquote good cops, like he's talking cops who are decent men or women and people who are, not on the take, not out murdering people, not beating their spouses, any of that, abusing their power, they still look the other way to the cops who do. And so it makes you complicit in those cops' actions. Yep. If I watched you murder somebody and I looked away and didn't report it and didn't say anything, I'd be arrested as an accessory. So that's why cops are accessories to the bad cops. That's why the saying of all cops are bastards are in. But that's why I included this clip. I almost didn't clip it, but I thought that was such a point I wanted to make, that this argument, this thing has been going on for decades. This is nothing new. This has been going on since the start of time. And you've had an authority structure.
Well, and police forces, let's be very honest. Police forces got started as people that were bounty hunters for runaway slaves.
Exactly. Yes, you are very correct.
That's the origin of police and the police state in America specifically. Yes. So therefore, a black man becoming a police officer is essentially holding that tradition as they become a police officer. And anytime that you are willing to become a police officer and enforce laws that you also do not agree with, any law, I don't care what it is, even if it's a fucking speeding ticket, if you are going to be part of a punitive state-run system that is specifically punishing people of your kind or people of your like, whether it's race or whatever it is, and then also people of your class who, for whatever reason, can't afford that fucking ticket, but you still give it to them, even though you know it's bullshit, that them going 10 miles an hour over the limit doesn't mean shit. You just need to fill that quota. That makes you a fucking bastard.
Yeah.
You are trading your comfort for the comfort and safety of your fellow man and women just so that you can make a living, and you're doing it all for the power and the glory of the state. You do evictions, you're a fucking bastard. I don't care if it's part of your fucking job.
Sometimes I wonder, I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know how you do anything about it. I really don't. Because do we need a police force? I mean, there's always going to be people taking advantage of other people. And I'm not talking about police on people. They do. But I'm not talking about, just people and other people. People are always going to, it's the nature of being, unfortunately, right now. Hopefully, maybe someday we'll grow out of this infancy known as, us as a people, where we care about things that shouldn't be cared about as much. But as long as people have something and people have their haves and have-nots, the have-nots are going to try to take because they need. And then, of course, there's always just going to be people who are, fucking bastards, who are, beaters or killers or rapists.
Yeah, you would probably need a police force for violent crimes, yes, but there's a lot of stuff that can be handled by social programs as well, and we're getting way off fucking topic.
I know, but this movie just brings it out. But I'm like, maybe you just need a detect, because I also agree, police don't prevent crime. They're in charge of
punitive
arresting. Yeah. Do we just need detective forces then? Like detectives who aren't, police officers. Technically they are, but they're just detectives. They detect, they look into crimes, see what they can solve, and then try to catch the perpetrators. And then what should we do? Do we have to affect what actual crime is? Crime is murder, rape, and assaults. Maybe we need to to lighten up on some of the other things that we consider a quote unquote crime. But I don't, yeah, okay, we're way off the fucking rails here. So I'm sorry I got into that.
Right. But the film does touch on this because even the way that Pam Grier reacts to some of the stuff that he's saying, she is a vigilante because the system has failed her. She is doing this because this system has failed her. And whether or not she's hanging out with this cop to get the information she needs to move further, I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Maybe he just makes her feel good about herself because he's a friend. You know?
They're a friend. They used to date. And I don't think she's... See, there's the other thing. Well, I mean, she is a user of people in this movie, but they're all bad people. The people who she considers good people, she's not indirectly using them. She very much likes this guy as a person. She thinks he's a good person, a good man. And so that's how, she feels. So I guess while she may be using him maybe for information, that's not the only reason she hangs around him. She likes him. She believes he is genuinely a good person.
I do not think that she intended to use him for information. It was the fact that he took that call and then started talking to her about what was going on and telling her.
That was an opportunity.
Right. And I think this is the linchpin where that opportunity, she may have stopped if this wouldn't have happened. If this phone call wouldn't have happened in front of her, she may have stopped at...
Well, she was definitely getting ready to tell him what she had done.
Yeah. And
she was getting ready to confide in him about what she had done until that phone call, and she heard all his cop buddies are in on the tape.
Yeah, and that pushed her over the edge. You were absolutely right.
Yeah. So, all right. So, right after this, two guys break in with baseball bats, and they beat him senseless. They smack her around a little bit, and then one guy gets really rapey and starts feeling her up, and the other guy kind of grabs him and said, "Hey, man, we got to get the fuck out of here because, the cops are going to be here soon, so we gotta fucking go."
This was fucking violent and really brutal.
Yeah, it was really, I mean, when they're beating him with the bats, fuck, that was hard. That's a hard watch, and you're not seeing him technically get beaten. You're like, the camera's looking up from his perspective. You just see the guys whacking, but it's fucking hard enough to watch still.
The implication of it and putting you in that perspective of the person that's seeing the bats coming at them works really fucking well.
I completely agree. It is horrific shit. So thanks, movie. Not really, but I mean, I guess it gets the job done.
Good work at making me feel extremely uncomfortable during that sequence, and then watching the guy get rapey on Pam Grier and only being stopped by the fact that they just tattooed a cop with bats and they need to get out of there before more cops show up.
Yes. Well, we're in the hospital, and Carter's partner and his quote-unquote buddies show up, and they really want a piece of the guys who did this, even though they probably sent the guys to do this. Then we find out someday maybe the cop will be able to go to Carter will be able to go to the bathroom by himself, and that's with a lot of work. So Carter is very damaged now.
This is the end of his life one way or another, and it's really fucking grim.
Yes. Pam decides to go visit a woman who used to be King George's main woman. But
bottom bitch, I believe, is the term that the pimps use, Matt.
Okay. Well, she has a cut on her face. It's because she pissed King George off because, well, she's white and she called him the N-word, and that didn't work out for her, and she got cut up.
This is a really hard
hard scene to watch, and you're like, what the fuck is going on, man? I mean, by this point, I'm like, okay, I don't think this movie's gonna let up. Like, I think I'm in for I think this is exactly where I paused it and I decided, you know what? And I poured myself a whiskey, because if the movie was going to take me there and it was a Friday night, well, okay, I guess I'm going there then.
I had to imbibe a little bit while watching this too, because it was definitely fucking dark.
It was dark, and I needed something to numb it a little bit, because it hit me. It hit me real fucking hard.
Yeah, it's an unflinching film, and I guess until I did it, with the mindset of, something to talk about and reviewing the film, like, I didn't think too deeply about it, and it hit me way harder than I was expecting it to.
And also, you were younger probably when you saw it. You're older. You have a different perspective. You maybe even care a little bit more about things things you didn't care about before.
Oh, I care way more about people than I
Yeah.
used to when I was younger, when I used to watch this. I know that for
Yeah.
a fact. I was a little sociopath.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying it fucks you up. Well, anyway, this girl isn't really going to give Pam anything, and so
She still
Pam
works
decides-
for the guy that slashed her face.
Yeah, and she's like, hey, my main squeeze is going to be home soon, so you better get out of here. And Pam then says, fuck that, and she breaks a vase or something, and she threatens to cut the other side of her face.
It's a bottle of wine, and the lady pulls a knife on her to get her out and tells her to leave. And then she's like, oh, you want to cut me? Then she pulls
I'll cut you.
She grabs the bottle, breaks it, and goes after her.
And Pam goes, full Pam Grier, and you're like, go get her. And so the girl breaks, and she goes, okay, I'm sorry. And she says, look for his top guy, Arturo. He's into some real, freaky shit. She goes, you got to fuck him, though. That's how you get into it. And and he likes a lot of weird shit. So he likes foreign chicks is his main thing. He likes foreign chicks.
Yeah, she gives her all the scoop of everything she needs to know to work her way in on this. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Pam finds out where he keeps where all the girls meet and all that kind of stuff from her. And then she also wants to know where his stash is, like where he keeps his stash of dope, like the main stash, like not just little party dope, like his fucking selling stash. And as they go back and forth on this, then her main squeeze comes home. Her main squeeze is a very giant woman named Harriet. We would call this an Amazon, probably. Well, she shows up and chases Pam away because even Pam Grier looks and goes, well, I know when to cut and run. And then when Pam leaves, Harriet, you would tell this lady is just in a really bad spot in her life because she does not have a good picker because Harriet's an abuser as well and starts yelling at that woman for Pam being over. So that's not gonna go well.
No, she's ready to beat on her just because another woman was in her house.
Yeah.
And she's jealous of that. Yeah, it was really grim. And this woman is doomed no matter what she does, basically, is what's going on. She's probably part of a cycle of abuse that goes back to her childhood and her family.
Yep. Oh, yeah. And also she is also addicted to her, probably drugs as well.
Yes,
So,
that's why.
I mean-
That's how King George keeps his stable, apparently.
Yeah. Well, then we see King George. He shows up to a club to meet Pam, and that is our next clip.
Mr. George, I presume.
You're the lady from Jamaica who called me.
That I am, man. And I can see that you're not at all disappointed, of course. So I'll come straight to the point, as I like to do. Boss, another drink for my friend here. I presume a champagne cocktail is sufficient? Good, man. Now, I assume you've got complete protection from the police, have you?
Of course.
Of course, man. Now, I contacted you as soon as I arrived from Kingston because I'm told you are the very best there is in your business. That right, man?
I'd say so.
Good, man. Now, I don't do no leather work, man. No whips, ropes, chains, or none of those fetish freaks. Just plain sex. But for that, I don't mind saying that I am the very best in my business.
We'll just have to see about that, won't we?
Of course.
If he is falling for Pam Grier's Jamaican accent, he is the dumbest fuck ever. But I do believe that looking at her, all he cares about is looking at her. And he's like,
Listen,
I get to try her out, quote unquote, is his thought.
She looked good right there. So, I mean, what do you want? All right.
I have seen Pam Grier in some really awful outfits in some of these films that she's been in, and she still looks incredible in them.
Yeah. So I'm just going to say right now, I bought that Jamaican accent hook, line, and sinker, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I am only commenting on it now, Matt, because I'm only hearing it and I can't picture how she looked.
See, I can't help but picture how she looks. So
right, but like I remember how she looked, but like all I'm hearing is the accent, and my brain's like, nope, you can't trick yourself now, dude.
Can't do it. Get out of here.
Yeah. So the one weapon that she definitely has is the fact that she is knockout gorgeous, and men are powerless before her presence. They just bow at her feet, essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. So we'll get to kind of King George's harem of ladies. They're all kind of there. They're very, very beautiful ladies. One's getting tended to because I think she got she got whipped by a guy, probably.
I took it in a different way where she said you have to stay off your back for a while. I thought she had bed sores from all the work she was doing on her back was the joke.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. That maybe that's it too. I fucking, what do I know?
Because of where it was at, I'm wondering if the friction of, the thrusting back and forth created like rug burn / bed sores right there.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
It's either a joke or it's a reference to the fact that someone liked to play rough with her and she's going to have to stay off her back to heal it. Either way, it's kind of a grim fucking joke or it's a really grim, statement on the life of a prostitute. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, everything's grim.
Except for how wonderful all those ladies look in that outfit. So thank you, movie, for this. Watching this stable running around in lingerie.
Yeah. So one of the scheduling lady even tells one of the girl getting stuff done that she's gonna have an appointment. They're like, she can't be on her back, and the scheduling lady's like, don't worry, it's just a blowjob
in the office. So it's
in the office, so you'll be on your knees.
Yeah. So she's gonna have sores on her knees when she's done with that from the rug burn. Yeah.
Thank you. So that's still not good. Anyway.
Well, the fact that she's been beaten or she has bed sores or whatever it is, like she's injured and needs time to recuperate, and yet she's going to have to go use her mouth to please some guy for money.
Yeah. Well, anyway, George shows up with Pam and he's kind of showing her around, and then George's new main lady, she shows up.
They refer to them as bottom bitches, Matt.
But I don't know if I can do that. So...
Hey, it's not a term I like. It's just an accurate term for pimps.
I'm just going to say her main lady, his main lady. So,
okay.
Sorry, that's how I am.
Fine.
So anyway, he shows Pam into a bedroom. The main lady's kind of like, hey, what are you doing? What's going on? She's getting way too clingy. And George kind of shoos her away. And then...
She was complaining that she got paid for a guy that wouldn't fuck her just to be arm candy for X amount of times.
She left Florida. He was like, what are you doing back in Florida? She's like, it was boring down there. I wasn't having sex. I was just being arm candy. It's like, okay, lady. But I think her main worry is, you got to be, she wants to be the main lady to George. You got to stick around George a lot because George may have a wandering eye, and then you don't want to be losing those comfy gigs.
Right. She's pretending like she's just craving George and can't get enough of him. But in reality, she's just trying to keep her power as the bottom bitch.
Yeah. And now you see Pam in there, and, I'd be nervous too if I was her. So, well, anyway, let's get to this. One of the best moments of the movie. He walks into the bedroom where Pam is, and we see Pam in all her glory.
Yeah. So she she turns around and slips her outfit off, which I think it was like a jumpsuit or something like that. Yeah. But she was completely naked.
No, actually, he's wearing a jumpsuit. She was wearing more of a weird kind of dress type thing. But
yeah. Okay. But
he's wearing the jumpsuit because he starts unzipping it.
But she unzips too, and then when she slides it down off of her body, she turns around. And it's displayed in such a way to where she shows off her ass first and her hips as the dress is dropping down. And the way that they film it, it accentuates her body because the dress kind of clings on the way down and moves to the hourglass shape. And it is extremely alluring. And oh my God, I can't get that image out of my head just talking about it now.
I can't either.
And then she steps out of the dress, and when she turns around sideways, then she displays the rest of her body. And we see full-fledged, full frontal nudity from Pam Grier in this film.
Yeah, in all of her glory.
And it is no wonder everyone keeps falling for her tender traps in this film because, good Lord, I'm falling for it right there.
Yeah, and I know what's happening, and I'm still going to fall for it.
I'm
in on the joke.
Yeah, I used to fucking laugh at praying mantises and black widows whenever they would mate and then be killed by their mate. And now I kind of understand, if...
I get it.
Yeah, if I'm a praying mantis and Pam Grier is the praying mantis that's, looking to rip off my head, I'm like, no, yeah, let's go.
All right, that's whatever you need, man. I don't know.
It's like, I have to die for this? No, you're worth it. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Anyway, they're eventually going to hook up. That ends that 20 minutes, by the way. That's a great way to end that 20 minutes.
Oh, and him dragging the zipper down on his jumpsuit down the habit trail, you actually get a lot more of that actor's pubis than I thought we would see in the film. And then he starts slipping slipping out of that jumpsuit, and you don't really see them having sex. They're just implied after that. But they do have a little something for if you're into dudes. I mean, that guy was pretty well shaped, and when he was undoing that jumpsuit and starting to slide out of it, I mean, that's a little eye candy for folks that are into the dudes.
Yeah, there you go, man. I mean, yeah, they definitely had sex, so it's implied, but it's heavily implied.
I would like to state at the end of this 20 minutes that this is the point of no return for Coffy. Like this.
Yeah, no, yeah, she is now decided. Listen, Carter's, damaged. Her sister's comatose. This is it. She is going to go full-fledged. Point of no return. It's done.
Yeah, and this going after King George like this, she is having sex with a pimp, which is even in the 70s an extremely risky behavior to do. So this is, I think, at the point where she may be in the plan to where she knows that this may take her life, but she's going to go for it anyway.
I agree. We cut to now. There's a party happening, and the gangster Mr. Petroni shows up.
I recognized him, but I can't really realize from what.
Too. Yeah, I think I know. Isn't he the psychologist or psychiatrist in MASH?
Yeah, I think he is. I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think he's Sydney, right?
Yeah, he's Sydney. Yeah.
Oh, it was fucking bugging me for fucking ever.
Right? And I was there. It was the end of the movie. I was finishing my notes and getting the clips together. And that still, was in the back of my mind. And then I go, it's Sydney.
Yeah, that's
from MASH.
Yeah, Major Sidney Freeman. I just double checked. Yeah, it's definitely him. That was fucking Sydney. Oh, thank you. And
you're welcome.
He was in. He also was in the Heat of the Night. If you watch the TV show version of that, he was in that as well. I can't remember what character he played, but like between those two, like I knew I recognized him, but I didn't know what from. But there you go, folks.
There you go.
Dr. Sidney as a villain is not something that's easy to watch for me. I'm gonna have a hard time watching this again in the future.
Yeah, I know. I don't like Sidney as a bad guy.
He's really fucking good at it though.
Oh, he is. He is a prick. So let's see here. But yes, and he's a very important man. We also see this. The guards, King George's men and Petroni's men, do not like each other. So I think right now there's probably some warring going on, and now there's a little bit of a brokered peace where George is now answering to Petroni, and the men do not like one another.
Well, it was stated at one of the clips, and then earlier in the film, that there's a new cartel that Vetroni is running that's moving in. And they're basically snatching up the power, and they're taking all of the territories of the various black pimps and dealers and just basically taking over. So even in crime, we see that there is even more exploitation of the black community, and that, even when you turn to crime to try and better yourself, you end up having to pay all up to the white man anyway.
Yes. And by the way, Petroni and his men, very racist. Very racist.
Oh, extremely so, yeah.
Yes. So that probably also does not lend to a great working relationship, but it is what it is.
Yeah, this is essentially modern day slavery, which is exactly what drug addiction is meant to be in these communities.
Yeah. King introduces Pam to Petroni. Then we see the King's main lady. She causes a spill and spills all over Pam some wine. And a lot of the other girls start patting her down, and one of the girls actually undoes the strap to her dress, exposing her a bit.
Yeah, all of these girls don't like her because she's new to the stable and she's very clearly a threat. And the main lady / bottom bitch dumps a tray of daiquiris on her. They weren't wine. They were like a type of daiquiri.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Daiquiri. It was red.
Under the guise that she was going to hand it to Vetroni, but she pushes them all across the tray.
Yeah, the whole tray. Yeah.
Right. And then the other one of them actually dumps like a flute of champagne on her hair.
Yeah.
As they're doing it. And they basically are doing it to basically go after her and embarrass her and make her feel awful.
Yeah, you bitches. Petroni is even like, that was no accident, but he was talking to the ladies. He goes, that wasn't an accident, I can tell. So anyway, Pam then goes to clean up, but she actually finds King's stash, so she gets some drugs out of there. And then while cleaning herself up, she puts in some fake shit or some bad shit in with the King's stash in this fireplace.
She actually says it, so if you're not...
That's right.
Yeah, she does some voiceover. She dumps the actual heroin heroin into the ashes.
Yes.
And then she replaces what was there with sugar, is what she says.
Yes, that's right. It was with sugar. I'm sorry.
So essentially what she's doing is spiking blood sugar everywhere for all of these junkies. And then she's doing it because it's going to make King George, get all of his customers super pissed because they're going to all think that they're getting ripped off. But it also has a plot point that we need to follow later on.
Also, King George isn't a drug pusher initially. He was just a pimp. These are Petroni's drugs that he's pushing. He's just working for Petroni now. So that's also has to be important.
But he's also used it to keep his stable in line in lieu of payment too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course.
He's still benefiting from it, but he didn't start dealing until Petroni came and made him.
This is why he and Petroni are in business together. Is he's pushing out Petroni's drugs to his neighborhoods.
Yeah, he's been forced to. Yes, but he is one of the folks that's like, hey, this is benefiting me. I'll do it gladly.
He doesn't care. So then, as she's getting herself ready, she puts razors in her hair.
I want to point out the hiding weapons in the afro. That idea was specifically a suggestion from Pam Grier.
Oh, wow.
Specifically the razor blades. They were trying to figure out how to do a fight and, get some interesting things in the film that they had not seen before, or just something that was different. And apparently this was something that Pam Grier knew about, that ladies would hide razor blades in their hair or their afro so that if someone tried to grab it, like during a fight, they get all sliced up. I don't know how she knew that, but according to Jack Hill, that was her suggestion, and they kind of worked it into the script and they worked it into part of the fight scene.
Well, it fucking works. It's a great, it's everything's gonna be awesome coming up here.
Yeah, all I gotta say is, again, this movie would not be anywhere near as effective as it actually is without Pam Grier. She makes this film.
That's a fact.
Jack Hill even said as much in that interview that I was talking about.
Yeah, that's just a fact. That's, there's no other way to say that. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
Let's see. Then Pam, she comes back into the room, and the main lady for King George, her name is Meg. And she comes in and she picks up a bowl of salad and dumps it on Meg's head. Then we get a bit of a fight.
This is a full-blown throwdown, dude.
Throwdown. And boobies start coming out because Pam starts kicking all the girls' asses, by the way. All of them. And
yeah, she kicks the shit out of an entire stable of women, and she's holding her own without even having to use the razor blades in her hair yet.
Yeah, exactly. Then, as she's beat the shit out of everyone, Meg comes up and grabs her by the hair. Of course, what does this do? Cuts her hands to shit. Anyway, everything calms down, and Petroni is like, I want this woman. I want her. He's telling George, I want her. I want this woman. She's amazing. So then we cut to Pam's kind of getting ready for the night, and she readies a gun inside a stuffed lion. It like hides it in there, and then she drives over to Petroni's for funky time, and that ends that 20 minutes.
Okay, before we really dig into the next, or whatever 20 minutes or so that's going to be close to the end here, I wanted to point out that before Coffy, Pam Grier had done mostly women in prison or women escaping from prison movies, and then a few horror film appearances or some guest starring or background actress or actor things. But mostly she was known, or by me, I would say, as women in prison films previous to this. Coffy is the first of her blaxploitation flicks that are specifically made for blaxploitation, and it was on the success of Coffy that the rest of her career, like one of my personal favorites, Foxy Brown, or even like her Sheba Baby or some of her other appearances, like this is the film that skyrocketed her into being the Pam Grier that we know today. The other films did rather well. Now, when I say this, like skyrocketed, she has 8 previous films or film appearances before Coffy, and that ranges from 1970 to 1973. She was in 8 films from 1970 to 1973 before Coffy.
Damn.
And then this was the one that really brought her to the attention in the forefront, I would believe. This was a huge success for the filmmakers and for Pam Grier as well. I mean, the other films that she was in, I do dearly love, like The Big Dollhouse, Women in Cages, The Big Birdcage. Those films, Black Mama, White Mama, I've seen those like a ton. I haven't seen a lot of the other ones, but those specific films, they were more for the women in prison crowd. Coffy is a star vehicle for her, for sure, that is meant to actually move her career along and or see if she could be a leading lady specifically for this type of action revenge thriller type film that would be part of the blaxploitation. And because of Coffy's success, Foxy Brown was fast-tracked and was done within 11 months because they needed to get, enough another star vehicle for her being this badass lady. And Foxy, we've already covered. And that is, they took all the things that they learned from Coffy and improved and gave us a somewhat happier ending, because those two films are very similar. I just think that Foxy Brown may be the more superior of the two.
I gotcha.
Well, it was made later. They learned lessons and they spent more money on it. So there you go.
There you go.
All right. So we can move on to the next 20 minutes.
Excellent. Well, she goes to Petroni's place, and when she gets in there, they get into the bedroom, and he starts beating her because and calling her all sorts of racial slurs, and he's just a prick. Well, she gets out and she gets the gun out. She's getting ready to shoot him, but his goons come in, and we see one of the guys who comes in and restrains her. He was one of the guys who went in and beat Carter, so he recognized her from that party. So this was a trap for her. They kind of say what happened here, and she lies, of course, and says the king put her up to it.
Well, they infer, or they get the idea that since King George was forced to deal heroin, that this was like a revenge tactic to try and take Vitroni out and get Vitroni off of King George's back. She, being a very intelligent and powerful woman, decides to play into that idea and immediately starts pretending to be scared, because the truth of the matter of her doing this for vengeance, they're not going to buy anyway. And maybe this will buy her some time to figure out how to save herself. Like, you see it, like, and Pam Grier does an excellent job of doing it to where she's like kind of laying there watching them and just kind of like motionless and emotionless on her face. And then when they start talking about who could be doing this in King George, like in front of her, pretending like she doesn't even fucking matter, before they go to interrogate her, she actually does change in her facial expression that she figures out what she's going to do.
And they still believe she's actually is just a prostitute. They know like of her, but they still think she's also a prostitute. So that still works, because they're like, well, she's just following orders.
Right. They just assumed basically that cop had hired her as a prostitute for the night.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, and all they know of her at this specific point, it makes sense, because these specific criminal dudes don't know her other than she was there whenever they tagged that guy with the baseball bats. And that's a safe assumption if they know her to be a prostitute, that's why she was there.
Yes. And then the Cyclops man comes in and he tells started calling Petroni Mustache. He tells Mustache that he's in trouble. And then we cut to Meg checks in with the king to make sure, she's still the top gal and he's not mad. And he goes, yeah, you're fine. And
he's all like, you're my bottom bitch, baby. Live.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, he has a meeting with Petroni. So he gets in the car. His driver's like, hey, I'm really sorry about this. Because the two guys, Petroni's men he's between, and they're like, yeah, you're pretty fucked. And he's like, I don't get it. Why is this happening? Well, they put a noose around his neck and then attach it to the car, and they make the driver drive.
No, Sid Haig drives.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And the driver's sitting in shotgun, and they drag King to his death.
Yeah. So one of the dudes stays in the back and holds onto the rope, but also they put it in the door so that the door jamb holds it shut. But then the guy also holds onto the rope to make sure it doesn't let go. And this sequence is harrowing. We need to talk about this because they're throwing out racial slurs before they do it, and they specifically say that the noose is because he's black, and this is how they handle black folks.
It's not good. I wasn't. Yeah, I just said they're racist before. So
yeah, the racist connotations of this and the lynching aspects of this scene are extremely uncomfortable to watch for me in this day and age with my quote unquote woke snowflake eyes. But I also wanted to just kind of point out Sid Haig when young is even more menacing than the older version of Sid Haig. There's just something about
that was?
Yeah, that's just something about the way that he carries himself. Yeah, I know he looks like Anton LaVey when he's younger. Because of the shaved head and the little goatee, but like that was Sid Haig as a young man. Yeah.
Huh, look at that.
Yeah, and he is extremely menacing, and all of the lines that he delivers, he worries me and troubles me more than the eye patch dude in this, or the Cyclops guy is what you were calling him. Like, I find him way more menacing.
Oh, he is definitely way more menacing. So,
he seems like the sadistic guy who gets sent out to do this kind of work because he's good at it, and we see why. Because when they drag George, this goes on for a really long time, and there's some sequences where it's clearly a stuntman being dragged here and there when they're doing some of the turns. But even when it switches to a dummy, the dummy, you just automatically assume that the guy's already dead. And it becomes like this ragdoll thing, and the dummy works really, really well. And I mean, I know it's 1973, but this scene was extremely harrowing and really hard to watch because they really fucking go for it.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, it's
driving them through like a junkyard area and fucking up the car for fun and like all this other shit that they're doing. Like just through the construction zone where they drag them through all of that stuff. The body is like hitting the curbs and stuff. And then the way that they play it where the actors come out and the driver looks at him and then they're like, oh, we're not such bad people. You could come work for us after this. I'm like, no.
You need a job now. So, I mean, you said you need a job, so you'll work for us now.
Yeah.
You'll work for Mr. Petroni.
Yeah. After watching them drag a man to his death, I'm going to fucking run if that were to happen. This was horrific.
I'm pretty sure he'd be caught. So you kind of just say, okay, I guess I'm working for you now.
I guess this is just now my hell life until I die. Yeah, this fucking grim.
Yeah, grim. Well, and that ends at 20 minutes, and we're going into the final 30 now.
Yeah, this is fine. We covered what we needed to cover while we're there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we cut to now Pam's boyfriend, the man running for Congress. So he's talking to the media about the issues of, their community. And we see as all this is happening, the Cyclops man is watching.
I'm surprised you didn't pull that as a clip, so I just want to comment on this. If you were to watch Coffy and you listen to this congressman and the things that he's saying and what he's trying to do in this ad that they're shooting, the issues in the community that he is speaking for have not changed since 1973 when this film was shot.
Yeah.
It has not improved in any way, shape, or form. And everything he said is stuff that people are still trying to say today, trying to help out the community that he is speaking of. And it was heartbreaking. I couldn't let that go without commenting.
Gotcha. Not a problem. I mean, you're right. Well, after the shoot, he gets a note from someone and he leaves very suddenly. Back at the mob compound, Pam is trying to get out of this makeshift prison they made out of a sauna by a pool. She finds a metal needle and she works it on a sauna rock. The councilman shows up to a different house, with a bunch of cops in tow, including the narcotics guy and the mob boss, Petroni. So we find out he's deeply connected. Well, they bring Pam in front of him, and they talk, and that's our next clip.
Gotta hand it to you, Lever. You're 100% right.
He knows her all right. He introduced her to me one night.
Sure, I know her. She's just some broad I fuck. But what's she doing here?
This broad you fuck tried to kill me. That's what she's doing here.
What?
That's right. Don't look at him. Now, young lady, I want you to understand that we have no personal thing against you at all. I know that you are only following orders. So there is no reason why we cannot be friends, is there? I'm not a bad man, like I told you. I don't want to see a pretty young girl go to waste with your whole life ahead of you. No, just tell me the truth and you can go free and no harm will come to you. Look, do you understand what it means when a man swears by his mother? I swear by my mother. Now, just tell me, did this man send you to kill me?
No, he didn't know nothing. Only King George, like I told you.
She's his girl. What do you expect her to say?
Howard, I'm sure personally that you had nothing to do with this. But this is a very serious matter. We've got a very profitable relationship here, but it depends entirely on mutual trust and confidence.
That's right. We've gone a long way with you, Brunswick. But if we have to, we'll find ourselves another congressman.
Howard!
Shut up! You did your talking? Why would I want to have you killed, Petroni? I like this deal as much as you do.
I can answer that, Mr. Petroni. These people all stick together like brothers. You can't trust them. Those two pushers that got killed last month had just come in with us. Then King George double-crossing us like he did. All brothers, remember? And he's one of them. And money, or deals, or anything, don't make him one of us. Shit.
You know, you've been listening to my political speeches. I thought you'd be more intelligent than to listen to crap like that. Now, for Christ's sake, Black, brown, or yellow. I'm in it for the green buck. And as far as that chick over there is concerned, I'll tell you how much she means to me.
Yeah?
Take her.
Will you say that out loud so these people can hear you?
Take her out and kill her.
Okay, so this is a man that she was apparently in love with and thought that they were going to have a life together, and he led her to believe that. And while he may be doing this specifically just to save his own skin, also the care with which he has little of for her is just heartbreaking to watch.
The care he has little of for anyone but himself.
Yeah, okay, so he is very clearly the sellout character who is using the fact that he is black to exploit the black community and give himself power so that he can fill his own coffers.
He's no better than King George.
No, he is worse because he is pretending to give a shit in order to gain more power. And, well, he's a politician. Everybody knows how politicians work. He is a very typical politician.
Yeah, definitely. And fuck politicians and Jesus Christ. Fucking can't, and Pam is now, of course, heartbroken.
As you would be.
As one is. So anyway, Pam, they kind of drive out one guy and a cop. And
that's Sid Haig. Sid Haig was in the car with her.
No, Sig Head, but a cop goes with him.
Sid Haig. You said it backwards. You said Sig Head.
Oh, sorry. So anyway, one of the henchmen and a cop, they go out and she seduces Sid. So he takes her out to go ahead and rape her. And as he's trying to get going, she stabs him in the neck with whatever that metal thing she found and sharpened on the rock. Stabs him in the neck a few times. So fuck him.
I want to point out too, she does try to seduce him where she says she wants to quote unquote go out with a bang or something along those lines. I can see where he would have fallen for that, but then he does immediately he just throws her down in the alleyway on some garbage and just decides he's going to go for it, and it's really grotesque. And his death in this is justifiably deserved, and I'm glad that we see what we see here.
Yeah, and he stands up and he is bleeding out of the neck. One guy comes to check on him, and he's like, "Hey, you got to save me," but she's escaping, so he's like, "Fuck you, I got to grab her first."
He's begging for his life, and both the fucking cops abandon him, and it's awesome. He's going to bleed to death under that fucking bridge like they were going to leave her there dead.
Pam is able to kill both the other guys and just leaves Sid there to bleed out from his neck and die.
You got to talk about the action that actually happened here because it's pretty awesome. Are you going to do it?
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay, so the cop that's chasing her, I forget how she ends up killing him, but doesn't she
she runs him down. She circles back and gets into a car.
Okay, yeah. So she runs from the one guy, and then she's in this lumber yard or some kind of stone quarry yard where there's blocks and these giant cement pillar things for building stuff. And the cop's chasing her around, and he's trying to run her down with the car, and she just ends up jumping up onto a rock or going to these various stacks of cement pillars and things like that, and then gets it to an advantage where she finds a rock and just improvises, tosses the rock at the window and breaks it just right to where the guy can't see, causes the car to turn upside down. And as we know, in the 1970s, any car that rolls over, even just kind of gently when it's going slow and then rolls over, it's going to catch on fire. Which he begs for help. She grabs the shotgun out from underneath him while he's begging for help and clearly injured, and he even says something about it's on fire, it's going to blow up or whatever. And then we see the car fully go up as she walks away. It doesn't fully explode, but you can hear the sounds of him burning alive, which good on her for allowing him to do that. And then she grabs another car, right? And runs that fucking cop down. She steals a car, doesn't she?
Yes, she definitely. I thought she actually circled back and took Sid's car, that she drove it. She's just circled all the way back.
Yeah, okay.
There are two cars taken, one cop car and then Sid's car. And I thought she circled back and took Sid's car, and that's what she used to run everyone down with.
Okay, yeah, and then she ran down the other cop with Sid's car, and she runs him over a couple of times, and it's pretty grotesque and awesome. And then she still has the shotgun, but then because she ran the guy down with Sid's car, she has to dump that car, and now we're at where we need to be.
Yes. we cut to, well, the three bad guys, they're ending the night. And as Cyclops, they hear a car driving. It sounds like it's coming fast. And the Cyclops dude, when he goes out there to check on it, and
you missed that part. She grabs another car.
Yeah.
Okay, so before that happens,
No, I thought it was the same car.
No.
No?
You missed the part where she's on the park bench then.
Oh, yeah.
She dumps...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's on the park bench, and a guy's like, hey, you want some fun? And she's like, yeah. And they get in the car, and she's like, get a hotel. And he goes running in to get some liquor.
Yeah, she tells him to go get some liquor. His dumbass leaves the keys. She slides over, steals the car, circles back to the park bench where she hid the shotgun from the cops in the bushes, and then heads off to the end of the night for the drug dealer dudes.
I wish I could call him a dumbass, but I wouldn't, because we both fall for that.
I would have taken my fucking keys with me and made her hotwire that shit.
And she could have, because she's Pam fucking Grier.
Well, this character, Coffy, who can make a weapon out of a piece of metal she just finds on the floor and a rock, and then also knows how to fight with razor blades in her hair to help protect her. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she would know how to hotwire a car. I think they just did a shortcut and not, and he left the keys in there thinking he was actually getting lucky.
Yeah. So then we see Cyclops Man. He opens up door, walks outside, and here comes Pam roaring up. He actually removes his glasses to, we see his fucked up eye as the lights get brighter, and just runs him down.
I thought that was supposed to be you could see all the way the back of his eye, that was the fleshy bits of what grew over when his eye was somehow removed, but it's like scar tissue. And it's good makeup and it's gross. And I love the way his eye gets super wide whenever that happens. And even when the car hits and the dummy gets run over, all the dummy hits with cars in this actually work for me.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, then she goes in there and she, with her shotgun, and she kills the narcotics cop, the head of narcotics. And then the mob boss goes into the water and she makes believe hey, I'm not going to actually shoot you, don't worry about it. And he feels good, and she asks where her ex is, and the mob boss lets her know where he is, and she's like, okay. And she turns around like she's gonna leave, and he thinks he's all right, and then she turns right back around and blows him away anyway, because fuck you.
Well, he begs for his life as well and offers her $1 million just to let him live and to walk away, and she's like, yeah, I'll take it, I want to go get him anyway. Sure, that's great, $1 million, you got a deal, where is he? And then he says the beach house, which is the house that he was going to take her to for the vacation to get away from all this. This was what she was aiming for. And so that time has come, but she was supposed to be long dead from a hot shot at this point, and the guy was going to allow that to happen. So her life is completely in shambles. All she has is her vengeance, and she's finally killed the guy that pushed all of the heroin into her neighborhood that caused her sister's coma.
Yep. Well, she shows up at that beach house. The boyfriend is walking downstairs. That's our final clip.
Hello, Howard. Come on and sit down and talk to me. I'm not mad at you.
Coffee, baby. I'm glad to see you. I knew they weren't really going to do it.
Oh, I ain't here because they didn't try, lover.
Well, they would have done it anyway. No matter what I said, you know that.
Yeah, I know. I told you I ain't mad at you.
Why don't you just let me have the thing?
No! And before you try to take it, I think you better know that all your friends are dead. Vitroni, Ramos, McHenry, and some others, too. I killed them all.
You?
I don't know how I did it. It seems like I'm in a dream. And I'm still in this dream, Howard. And it wouldn't take much for me to kill you now.
Well, I can see how you might feel that way, but you don't understand all the facts. Now, I did what I did for my people, for our brothers and sisters.
You shouldn't talk to me about sisters, Howard. I've got a sister.
Look, why don't you just relax and let me pour you a drink. You're upset. I mean, you can see that, can't you?
I can see plenty. I can see how each time a kid rips off a car or appliance store at somebody's house to get money for a fix, you get your cut.
Now, don't be naive, baby. You think if I weren't mixed up with the rackets, there wouldn't be any rackets. Wherever there's a need, somebody comes along to fill it. Black people want dope, and brown people want dope. And as long as people are deprived of a decent life, they're going to want something to just plain feel good with. And nothing's going to change that, except money and power. And that's what I'm after, baby. Power to change things for our people. I want to get all that money back into the hands of black people like you and me. Yes, like you too, Coffy. And you can help me, baby, to make a better life for our people.
Bullshit! You're just selling out to the white gangsters and businessmen. You're worse than they are. And I loved you. I loved you so much.
You still do, baby. You know it. And I love you. And we're gonna do big things together, baby. Because you're my woman, Coffy. Now, maybe I have done a few bad things, but that's the way the world is today. Sometime you have to do a few little wrong things in order to do one big right thing. And that's what I'm trying to do for you and for our people, that one big right thing.
You always were a good talker, Howard. You could talk me into almost anything. But I don't know. I just don't know anymore.
All you have to know, baby, is that I'm your man. And I'm gonna take care of you and I'm gonna steer you straight. I've been missing you these past few days, Coffy. And I've been wanting you real bad. Now, why don't you just put that thing down and come and fold yourself up in my arms? And I'll make all this crap go away.
Motherfucker talks just like King George the Pimp to his ladies.
Yep. And right as it looks like Coffy's actually starting to believe him and ready to give up the shotgun, ready to take him back. Like, just probably because she's just tired at this point.
Well, she's in a dissociative state and she just wants to feel like her life is going to get back to normal. Like, she's looking for any out she can in this, and it's just not going to work for her.
Yeah. But before anything else happens, another woman shows up and calls out for the congressman, and that snaps Pam back to it, and she turns up and blows him away with the shotgun. And then we see her walking away on the beach at night, and roll credits.
She doesn't just shoot him dead, Matt. She shoots him in the dick and lets him bleed out.
That's right.
The lady that he's there with, which I think might have been the go-go dancer, if I'm not mistaken, from earlier in the film.
Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah. So she's there with him, and he's ignoring the fact that Coffy was dead. And he even said, "I thought you were dead, baby. Like, that makes it okay."
Yeah.
And then she shoots him in the fucking dick. End of the film.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. This is really, really grim, but I feel that it is, in fact, 100% accurate to what life is like.
Yeah. No happiness. Just a burnt fucking house to go back to, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and it's all, again, thanks to Pam Grier. She is 100% believable in this role. She embodies the role and all of the emotional range that she has to show, where the ups, the downs, the trying to be happy, the morose talk that she has while trying to pretend like she's happy when she's around the cop, and even with her man when she's just trying to pretend like life isn't so horrible because at least she has him. And then at the very end here, when everything, like all pretense of her life has been completely stripped away, and she realizes that she's being victimized on all fronts, not just for her community being ravaged by drugs that took her sister, but the fact that the man that she is in love with was a part of it and a willing participant and was using it for an excuse to gain more power, and tries to pull the same political horse shit speech of, well, once I get the power, I'll be able to give it back to our community, because if we're going to suffer from it, we should also benefit from the money for it. And all of this horse shit that's not even true, but what he means by we is me. I should be able to get rich off of the back of the suffering of my own people. Like, everything about this is just so fucking grim and dark, and it's a film that is designed to make you think about the plight of African Americans in this, and their community in this country.
And unfortunately, it ages well. You know what I mean? But ages well because it's still happening to this day.
Yeah, it hasn't aged at all. It's evergreen. This story is 100% evergreen, yes.
Yeah.
To this day in this country. And it's fucking disgusting that it is. And it's really, really disheartening. So for those of you that refuse to learn from history, and for those of you that are, I don't know, let's say against critical race theory, watch fucking Coffy at least and take something from it.
We shouldn't learn about our history. Fucking assholes. I fucking hate people.
Yeah, because we haven't learned from our history, we are doomed to repeat it in 2021. And I don't want to talk about this anymore because it's depressing me. But my God, is it an amazing film. It's so
It is
well
an amazing
shot.
film.
And,
Yeah.
And Pam Grier is incredible in it. And I want to end things kind of on a high note, okay?
Yeah.
One of the interviews or a discussion that someone had with Pam Grier, this was like a little interesting trivia thing that I found. She was asked why she had chose to do so many nude scenes in Coffy and particularly in her other films. And Pam Grier's reasoning on this is excellent. All right. So she says, being nude in those movies, she was trying to help men understand society created this mystery about the vagina, the breasts. When you create a mystery, people want to see it and attack it if they can't have it. So her idea was, here's the mystery. I hope I bore you and you never get hard on again, is what she said.
Damn, that is badass.
Like, she's like, there's nothing to it. This is just my body. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that is a somewhat body positive, also very feministic approach to as to why she chose to do so much nudity in her films.
Definitely.
And I just have to say, Miss Grier, I will never be bored of you.
No.
I will never, ever be bored of seeing you. I'm sorry. You are incredible. So, but what you have done, though, is help me appreciate the woman behind the things that are the mystery to me, if you will. Because you were incredible in this film, and this film would not have been what it was without Miss Pam Grier. Thank you so much for doing it, ma'am.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. No fucking news. Long enough show already with so much societal issues to discuss. Let's just fucking end it here.
Let's end it.
If you enjoyed this show, then make sure you check out the other great shows on the Legion Podcast Network, like Cinema Psyops, Cinema Beef, Devour the Podcast, Duncan and Bo Come Correct, Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, Friday the 13th, Get Slayed, The Helming Power Hour, Hello, This is the Doom Show, Hero Hero Go Show, Kill the Cast, Underwater Kaiju from Outer Space, Jerry Hates Action, Legion After Dark, Mental Health, Obsessive Cinema, Discourse, Pick Six Movies, the podcast by The Cemetery, the podcast on Haunted Hill, the Psychosemantic Podcast, Rick Radio, House of Wax, Dude Looks Like the 80s, Rabbit and Red Radio, the Shadecast, Short Bus Cinema, Two Drink Minimum Commentaries, the VD Clinic, Who Will Survive Horror Podcast, and Witch vs. the Doomsday Clock. With such a wide spread of shows, there is guaranteed to be a niche for you to fall in love with. Horror, politics, movies, books, sex, music, commentaries, health, video games, kaiju, action, news, comedy, and opinions that would most likely get you killed in some parts of the world. We are proud to bring you some of the best podcasting in the world. Check us out at www.legionpodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and any other dark corner of the internet where podcasts can be found.
The music of the movie tells the story of the movie so that you are very sure of what you are seeing on screen. Coffee Baby is telling us exactly what's going to happen with Coffee. During a sex scene, that song is written to be all funky for the sex time. And it's telling you that tragedy is on the way while we're watching Pam Grier have sex.
Yeah, pretty much.
If you'd like to find other instances where Court has fucked up and then covered it with editing, you can check that out at legionpodcast.com/cinema-psyops. See, that's going to just jump in where I talk about fucking up and then fixing it with editing, and then people have to go to the outtakes and know what's going on.
Fucking A.
Yeah. If you would like to join in on the fun of all the upbeat stuff that has to do with our show, I would suggest following our Instagram page, cinema_psyops. That is the meme repository for all things meme dump having to do with the show that Court curates.
Yes, of course.
Of course, if you don't like Instagram for whatever reason and you're on Facebook, I also share the memes from that repository whenever they are dumped to Instagram, to our Facebook group, aptly named for the show, Cinema Psyops.
All our memes, comrades.
I'm available there on Facebook and also via Messenger as Court Psyops, and as we've already established, Matt exists online under the name of Matt Psyop, but is not available for you in any way, shape, or form.
These are facts.
You can email feedback to Matt and Court at cinemapsyopscourt@gmail.com, because Matt never even looks at psyopmatt@gmail.com unless it's to get onto his Google Drive and upload his clips.
I don't know why you have to fucking attack me like that, but all right. I mean, if this is the way you want to start a fucking weekend, fucking asshole.
I'm just stating facts as they are existing.
I don't need your fucking facts, all right? I got my own facts. I don't even know what that means.
You have your own alternative facts to the fact that you do not actually engage with the audience or your fellow podcasters.
You know what? Just fucking get on with the show notes.
You can also tweet a couple of tweets to a couple of twats on the porn bot shitfest that is Twitter.
But only if you're a porn bot.
I'm at Court_Psyop there, and Matt only participates with porn bots there as at Psyop Matt. He does it under at Psyop Matt because his wife and mother do not follow at Psyop Matt, so he can get away with all of the porn bots that he's tweeting tweets at and looking at their tweets of their twats.
Jesus Christ. Is that what you do?
Yeah, but I also have it on my phone that my wife could look over my shoulder while I'm looking, so I have to make sure that I do not pull up Twitter while ever my wife is able to see my phone, because then she will see all the twats that are being tweeted at me.
Yeah, that's why you take a lot of bathroom breaks. I get it.
Well, that, and I have a heavy fiber diet.
Well, yeah, that too.
Well, while you're out there trying to move some stuff of your own, folks, kick the fuck out of this week and make it your bitch.
Record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Yeah.
Hey, fuckers, religion's bullshit. God's not real. Your bloodshed boner lasts more than 4 hours.
It's just that it's destroying my bloodshed. Check. Okay? Yeah.
Hey, fuckers, religion's bullshit. God's not real. Your bloodshed boner lasts more than 4 hours.
It's just that it's destroying my...
If you are able to hear your own voice, then you have configured Skype correctly. If you hear this message, but not your own voice, then something is wrong with your audio recording settings. Please check your microphone and microphone settings or visit skype.com for more help. Thank you for using the Skype call testing service. Goodbye.
Yo.
Hey, start recording on your side.
And I am now recording on my side. 1, 2, 3.
How's your waveform looking?
Everything looking good?
All right, I know you can hear this, but I want to make sure it's not too loud for you because I turned it down because it was distorting in my test call for Skype, so...
All right. Perfect.
It's just that it's destroying my bloodshed boner, okay?
Your bloodshed boner lasts more than 4 hours now. I rented out my womb. How many, fucking dead kid fucking clips do we have? That is actually, that last one's a good question. I don't care who you are. That's a good question.
It's true. It is. It's very true.
How many dead kid clips do we have?
Significantly more than we have theme songs for this year completed now. That's of this recording.
Oh no. That's I'm gonna tell you, God's honest truth, in the eyes of the government, that's one too many.
All right, I think we're in the good headspace now. I don't have I don't have the actual theme song yet, but when I get it, I'll try and punch it in, and if I don't get it, then this will be, I'll just release it and then I'll fix it later, I guess.
There you go. We do once. Hey guys, we're under a lot of pressure here, all right?
And by
maybe we won't have a theme song on time.
And by we mean me, because I always have to do a new theme song every year, and I always delay it until now.
Yeah, because you got something weird in your head, so you gotta have that different theme song.
Well, and I gotta go I gotta do a new one every year, and I gotta do it all myself. I can't, I got tired of trying to find something that would fit for the show, and I have no time to do it because I gotta get it done by Monday, and we're recording this Saturday morning, and I gotta get the theme song and edit this show all done by Monday night.
It's been a long time since we've been up in the morning to do this shit.
Yeah, we used to do it for guests, so all right.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I made a really strong energy drink. So
I still remember the one time we did it for someone overseas, and they were drinking beer and all that shit while I was having a breakfast burrito.
Now Skype is sending me fucking ads trying to tell me to. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Skype just sent me some fucking ads trying to tell me to add some shit. Like they're like, hey, you can get messages on your Android phone. I'm like, fuck you. All right, let's do the show before I get too much more pissed off.
Yeah, I don't want your fucking messages.
All right, so it's just gonna be like there's no theme song, so I'm just gonna come in. So 3, 2, 1.
First, hold on. I'm experiencing with the new layout because I had some issues with PCs last night. So I believe, sorry for the outtake here, but I believe the old laptop is now dead. Yes, I believe it has taken its last breath. So luckily I have the laptop that I do this show on. So we're doing it from there.
There was a time in my life when I was trying to find every movie that Rob Zombie has ever sampled. And now I'm just trying to find a movie that Rob Zombie hasn't sampled.
Now you're just trying to find a movie that Rob Zombie or franchise that Rob Zombie hasn't ruined?
No, that's not the case. That's not the case. I'm not bagging on him. I'm just saying his film fanaticism definitely extends to sampling movies. In his music and things like that. And I used to dig that stuff. I'm not as much of a fan as I am anymore. But I remember that one.
Probably because it did too much. And then you too much of anything's a bad thing.
It's White Zombie I'm more of a fan of. It's just when he goes to his solo career that I didn't lose interest, but I've lost interest now. But I can still go back and enjoy some White Zombie.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's nice. I like White Zombie, and I even like some of Rob Zombie's solo stuff as well.
I like Coffy even more, so let's talk about that.
Good job. Okay. Motherfucker. All right, because we had to get on that. So thanks, Court. All right. Let's see here. Sorry, hold on 1 second. Okay. So,
that is meant to fucking shit. Man, that storm's getting nasty. I hope we don't lose power here. That would suck.
It was pretty heavy out here. The thunder was pretty huge at the beginning of the show out here.
We need to update this promo because so many of those shows are no longer with us.
Ouch.
I didn't pull up my show notes, so that's yet another outtake while we try to fix this. I am way off my fucking game on Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, my mornings are hard.
Especially since I was up till 2 watching the movie last night. If you'd like to find other instances where Court has fucked up and then covered it with editing...
Well, yeah, that too.
Well, while you're out there trying to move some stuff of your own, folks, kick the fuck out of this week and make it your bitch. I had nothing else. I'm fucking loopy as shit. I'm operating on less than 4 hours sleep, man.
Fucking A. All right, I've stopped recording on my end.